Well, as we know, the RBA reduced the cash rate to 4.1% on Tuesday afternoon, the first drop since 2020. And all four big banks announced that they would be passing it on to their customers, but it won't happen immediately.
Yeah, so what does it mean for the average borrower and how will it impact other Australians? For more, network finance expert Gemma Acton is here to break it all down. Hi, Gemma.
Hi, Gemma.
Gee, the banks were quick to, to cut the rates, right?
They were.
But did that lead us to believe that they knew it was coming?
Absolutely. You'd say that the announcement was all drafted, ready to hit send.
Yeah.
It was assumed that Tuesday afternoon's rate cut was a slam dunk. As it turned out, if you read the notes afterwards, there was a bit more of a debate than we were anticipating. But still, yes, it went ahead, which is good news.
OK, but there is a bit of a delay. Feb 28. Well, that's... God, the year's getting away from Feb 28. I think that's next week, right?
It is.
For the CommBank, NAB, ANZ, 4th of March for Westpac.
Yeah, so look, around 10 days, 2 weeks delay between when the rate cut was announced and when customers are actually going to get the rate cut.
Why can't they do it immediately?
Oh, they can do it immediately, but why would they leave all that money on the table? Every single day that they hold you at a higher interest rate, they're collecting more money off you. This equates to millions and millions of dollars for the banks over that short period. So why not? And it turns out that, as you mentioned, all of the big banks are doing it. They're all waiting. So we can't even say, well, I'm going to go to a rival because they're doing it as well.
Yeah.
Is it just me or do the rate hikes come through much faster than the rate cuts?
Oh, what is interesting on that note, the rate cuts are getting extended. So if you go back a while to like the late teens, like 20 teens, you'd get them after a couple of days. Now it's a much longer period. So, yes.
Okay. All right, it affects different customers differently. What about a savings account customers?
This is a good point. So this is great news for some people. If you've got a variable home loan, you really should have it passed on. We know all the big banks have done it. We know that a lot of the smaller lenders have done it as well. So if for some reason your bank hasn't done it, you need to call them and ask what's going on. Not such good news for people with variable savings accounts because their savings rate could be coming down. That said, I do have a variable savings account and my rate hasn't come down yet. I keep on waiting, keep on checking every morning, but nothing yet. So hopefully some of the banks won't be passing on that cut. And of course, if you have a fixed home loan or a term deposit savings rate, it won't change for now because you're locked in for the entire period.
So 0.25% doesn't sound like much. How much of a difference will it make to the average Aussie mortgage?
OK, so we talk about the average Aussie mortgage. That's around $600,000, which is obviously a huge amount of money. That means over the course of a year, you're saving around $1,150 or just under $100 a month. So not transformational when we think about the fact that rates have gone up 4.25% in the last 2.5 years.
Yeah, right.
But they are starting to come down a bit. So a little bit of help, 0.25% drop, but nothing compared to the ramp up we've seen.
Yeah, it's better than the other direction.
Years. Definitely better than nothing.
Better than nothing, but
not compared to what we've seen.
You're not financing an overseas holiday on the cut, are you?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Now, some of the smaller lenders move very quickly, seize the moment, and are offering some tremendous rates. Is it a good time to shop around, or we just want to wait and see?
Larry, it is always a good time to shop around. If you haven't shopped around for a while, get onto it now. What we have seen in recent months is variable rates and fixed rates as well coming down slowly but surely. So if you haven't been looking, if you have the opportunity to, go for it. We might get some more rate cuts down the line, but if it's variable and you haven't refinanced, do it. I think one of the reasons people don't do it more often, they get worried about all the admin associated with it.
Sure.
Yes.
I literally refinanced this week. I can assure you it's really not that much work. It's so much more efficient these days. The forms are much quicker. They have a lot of information on file. The banks do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. So definitely don't let that stop you.
Okay.
Right. And if we're looking, what's the forecast?
Yeah.
Obviously, some more drops are forecast, but...
Yeah, kind of. Like, we were hoping we'd get a whole barrel of them. This would be the starting gun, and then we'd see more to come. In fact, it looks like it might be quite slow. I think the next prediction is one in July, possibly, and then maybe nothing until next year. These can change very quickly. We're watching inflation, we'll be watching jobs data, but certainly not expecting one in the next month or two.
Lovely to see you, Gemma. Thank you. We'll have you back in another time to talk through the RBA's debate notes. Just want to run through that meeting afterwards. And
you can download them onto all your devices to read as well.
That'd be great.
In 19 seconds you can do it, apparently. There you go.
Thank you, Gemma.